Spencer's third, and last but not least, the first, Sid Rock, heading to the beach.
Marc Clarke, that's classic. I love it.
And welcome to the show, Bootsy Vegas. What is going on, my friend?
Hello, my brother. How you doing?
How was the weekend?
Very eventful being a baseball dad. So you know how that is.
Baseball dad.
I know there's definitely a lot, but I enjoyed it. He actually played good. But I guess for you, we have a few things to say to you, right?
What do you say?
Happy birthday. Okay, so is your birthday? Did we miss it? Or
no,
it's
the birthday
up?
is Wednesday. The birthday is Wednesday, so we're good.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
and then
birthday is Wednesday.
And then you were live on location, living the lavish life in Miami. I mean, you know, us regular folks, we have no idea what that is like. We don't know what that entails, but it looked like and it sounded like a lot of fun, my brother.
Well, yes, I was. I'm trying to. How does Rick Ross say it? Miami. What does he? He says
Miami. Yo. I don't know. I've never. It's been years since I've been.
So, yeah, Rick. First of all, shout out to Allison. Let me tell you something. Shout out to my wife. I don't know. Let me tell you something. Sometimes I don't know either. Okay. I don't know either. How did I deserve such an amazing wife? I do not know. I was just told.
Okay. Just being honest, I asked myself the same thing about you. But go ahead, continue the story.
Oh my! Everyone does. People on vacation.
I'm
too.
joking.
I just show up and amazing happens, and so you know, Allison who booked this, amazing. It was a spa. It was a whole thing, man. It was a whole thing, Bootsy Vegas. Now the funny thing is what I've learned in these 22 years, and my oldest is kind of learning, but she ain't really learning, is Allison she goes by feel. Okay. Allison is a go by feel person. So what happens is what I've learned, you can't interrupt the genius. You know what I'm saying? So let's say you're on.
That's smart of you to call your wife a genius too, and that's smart of you to call your wife a genius. But go ahead though.
Right. So you know, so when you head out, so we're going. Let's say it's dinner, all right, and everybody's hungry, and let's go to dinner. Now you know I had this weight loss surgery, so whatever I'm eating I can eat anything because I ain't gonna eat a whole bunch of it, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So don't ask me. And so we're in Miami. Now we're walking. And on this day, let's say we got our 13,000 steps in. It's dinner time. And you're in Miami. Now, some people may look at the restaurants that you want possibly to go to and then target those. But that's not what we do. We kind of just walk around in Miami. We just walking around. We walking around.
Don't end up on the couch telling this story, bro. Please.
No, I'm not on the couch. I'm saying, I told you I don't mess with the genius because it works. We're walking around. What are you in the mood for? What are you in the mood for? What are you in the mood for? What do you want? You know, we're about 40 minutes in on don't know what we're going to do. Now, it is Miami, and it is a weekend, and it is tourists. So restaurants are crowded. So when you walk into a place, most of the time it's going to be a 50-minute wait, 40-minute wait. Don't know what you want. Okay. So does it mean we're walking around for a long period of time? Yes. Now, was the complaint that we need to maximize our time here? Yes. But we're walking around for but Bootsy, sure enough, we walk after about an hour and a half, we settled on Allison hit her. Bam! Cuba. I want to have the Cuba experience.
Cuba. Go ahead.
Cuba. And let me tell you something. It was an amazing night. What you saw on Instagram, for those who saw it, that's what you saw. And so there we were, Bootsy. Now, the old me might have said, okay, where do you want to go? I would have tried to, you know what I mean? No more. Yeah. We land there, Bootsy. Had this amazing evening at this Havana restaurant, Havana-themed restaurant.
Right.
And they surprised me with, my birthday's not until the 8th. They surprised me. I got some good news that I'll share with later on this week.
Okay,
it was a beautiful evening, Bootsy. And so
and you learned the value of that Kenny Rogers song, know when to hold him, know when to fold him. Continue on, my brother. Know when to walk away, know when to run.
Now,
you better count your money while you're sitting at the table.
Because you're right. You're right. And Bootsy, sadly, I must say sadly, I had a moment, Bootsy. Bootsy, now here's the problem. when you Bootsy, when you don't say nothing, you don't say nothing, but you don't, right? The problem is you can go from 0 to 1 million for apparently no reason, right? So Bootsy, I will have to say it happened. It happened, Bootsy.
Okay.
And it turned into a whole thing, and I was like, what's the line from that movie? You know you messed up, right?
You know you messed up, right? So you said the bell got at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, because we don't know. Okay. It was another like that. So, settled on the place. We walked to the place. We got there. And again, Bootsy, I should have just kept I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, Bootsy. Because I thought this was the plan. That's what it was. I thought this was the plan. I'm like that too. I'm the same way.
I thought this was the play.
Let me know what it is before we start going.
I thought it was the play.
I got
it. I thought it was, and the thing was, it wasn't even about. And that's what's funny. The kids, everybody thought I was mad. It wasn't mad. I thought it was the play. We got to this place. It has multiple different things. Anything you could want. And again, Bootsy, it wasn't about I don't really care really. So I went and ordered my little food. Order my little food, Bootsy. Order my little food. Some deviled eggs. Order my little food.
Because you can't eat a lot anyway, so go ahead.
You know what I mean? So order my little food.
Yeah, you ain't no liability on the bill, so I got it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Order my little food. Then
okay. Can I?
Then word came that one person couldn't find anything, but there's 5 of us. So I'm like, okay, one person, one monkey don't stop the show. I guess Bootsy, that's the problem. I'm going back to old information. Bootsy, I'm going back to old information. I'm going back to when we grew up. One person, and there's 5, and this is the plan, right?
After y'all had sat down and everything? Okay.
Well, that was the part too. I'm a little disjointed because everybody else, they were all up here. I'm back here. I ordered. I assumed everybody was ordering. So I got the message, one person. So I'm like, okay. Allison's like, well, so-and-so, so-and-so. I'm like, okay, but yeah, it's just only one person. This wasn't this the play. Then
the girl died.
Then Bootsy, then when somebody else was, well, we don't know if this is the da. I was like, Alice was like, well, you could just get those eggs and you can just walk. We can just find a place.
It's crazy that I can see this. Like you're detailing this such descriptive. I absolutely know what it is. I know what the frustration is after you done waited and we get there. And we're coming as a group. One person can derail the whole. Oh my God!
So Bootsy, when she said you can put them little eggs and we can just walk, I was like, I'm not doing it. Okay, first of all, that was the first sign. That was the Bootsy. I should have right then, Bootsy. I should have just took it. I should have been like, I should have. But and again, remember, Bootsy, this happened away from the group. So
Right.
they didn't know that I already had, I had information. They didn't
Plus, you was in the moment. Plus, you was in the moment.
And they didn't see the kind of energy that I gave out already, which was a little frustrated energy. So then when I put them in the little to-go box and I walked to the table, so now all of a sudden I was the only one that ordered. I roll up to the table and they were all like, now here was the problem. They were chilling. And I didn't really have a problem with that. But after I said I ain't gonna be walking around with da-da-da, and I already did it, and they were sitting down and they were like, okay, Allison's like, you can just sit down and eat. You can sit down and eat. We'll just wait for you. And that's when, and then was that face, the face I had, Bootsy. And so then she did the eye roll thing, and that's all the girl saw was her eye roll and my reaction. I'm like, no, let's go. And that was it.
Okay. So let's.
That started a whole thing. That blew up the spot. They were mad at me. They basically thought I was a jerk. Dad is ruining it. It was like, what just happened?
Okay, you should end the story now. We don't want this out here. Let's just end it right there.
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it.
Okay. Can I tell you my parental story that I had this yesterday happened to me?
Now, look, we're only stretching because I think either my guest Dave, Flat Earth Dave might have bolted because he was there early, 3 minutes early, and then I know at 10 he rolled out, so he might have bolted. So somebody said this should be good,
Okay.
interesting. So I don't know. Flat Earth may not be a discussion, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let's hope it is. Let me just tell you my discussion yesterday. So my son plays traveling baseball. We had 2 games yesterday. It's like 4 o'clock. We go to Wawa, and my son says, Daddy, I just found this $100 bill right here. I said, really? So he picks it up and he has it in his hand. He says, Dad, maybe we should walk around the store and see who lost the $100 bill. I said, Sancha, we are not going to do that. You know what I mean? He's like, no, Daddy, it's wrong. Somebody then lost their money. We need to go find out who lost their money. I said, Sancha, let me ask you a question before we do this. How would you know? How would we know who money it is, and how would they know who money it is? He said, oh, no, that is easy. We could just ask them what the serial number on it is. I said, Sancha, we're not going to walk. So the cashier was telling him, yeah, go ahead, son, just put it in your pocket. He's like, no, Daddy, this is wrong. I said, hold on, be quiet. I said, matter of fact, give me the $100 bill. Give me the $100 bill. And he was so upset that we did not walk around this store to find out who dropped the $100 bill yesterday. It was like so upset that when we got home, we told his mom, and his mom was like, so you took $100 from him? I'm like, no. He wanted to walk around and ask people, did you lose a $100 bill? So I had like a moment yesterday that I had, and he was a little upset about it. Like, as if I'm like, no, Sancha, like we found the $100. You know what I mean? Like, and he was really upset with me about it.
Wow, Bootsy, you're a terrible parent.
He really like he got loud. I had to be like, man, be quiet. You know what I mean? I had to be. I was like, oh.
I like Sanchez because he said we can ask the serial number. You know what? It was mine. That was a 4670685C123.
You know, literally. And so it was like, and like he really wanted to walk around that store and have the bill and say, hey, could you see if you lost $100? So
well, Bootsy, you know what? It's okay. Dads are okay. We have our moments. We're not perfect, but we're okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, our next guest, he's known. He not only believes the earth is flat, his name says it, flatearthdave.com. Wow. Flat Earth Dave. And so, Bootsy, when I saw this, I thought of Kyrie Irving. I thought of the conversation. And I thought of you, Bootsy, because you, in fact, are the questioner. Because I know you got a million questions. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the book with the trigger, the head honcho, the top dog, Flat Earth Dave is in the building. What's up, Flat Earth?
What is going on? That's just a nickname, just so it's easy for people to remember my name, Flat Earth Dave versus Dave Weiss. So, like, is it Weiss, like ice, or what? You know, it's like.
I like that idea, Dave.
Flat Earth Dave.
I like that ice, Dave. Dave Ice. Dave Ice Weiss. Dave Ice Weiss might be a little hotter than Flat Earth Dave.
FlatEarthDave.com is where all my links are. So when you're hearing this stuff, don't believe anything I say today. Okay. Go verify it yourself. I'm going to point to some doors that you never knew were there. I'm going to answer some questions that you're like, oh, that's why boats go over the horizon. And then you'll start to see. And here's the thing. When Flat Earth was brought up to me, I shut it down. I banned people from listening to my podcast. You're an idiot. I'm not going to look at Flat Earth because it's the dumbest thing ever. Of course, we know the Earth is round. Sunsets, seasons, Aristophanes, the whole thing. But then I was forced to look, and that's how you become. And now, flat is not a shape. Flat Earth is a weaponized term like conspiracy theorist. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm a conspiracy analyst. Okay.
Oh.
And flat Earth is just a description of something that is horizontal or level, right? The Earth, they tell us, is 70% water. Well, large bodies of water at rest lay flat, testably, measurably, scientifically, provably flat. If the Earth was a ball, right? If the Earth was a ball, something going beyond the horizon would disappear, right? You can't see my fingers now. And even if I zoom in, you can't, because that's a physical horizon. But we don't have a physical horizon. And when we zoom in on things, there they are again, right? So.
Okay, I love this. Okay, Dave, I love this already. This is great. For somebody like me who is open-minded to everybody's ideas and premises, I would love to start from the beginning. How did this switch in your brain start off to you wanting to know or research or find out how the Earth is flat? How did we walk into this Flat Earth Dave thing?
Yeah. So I was doing a conspiracy analyst show where we looked into lots of the deceptions going on in the world, from, a lot of the major events that happened that cannot be said on YouTube. And when people started sending me Flat Earth stuff, and I was like, that's so dumb. I mean, I know there's conspiracies, but that's ridiculous. Too many people would have to be in on it. All pilots, all scientists would all have to be in on it. All the astronauts would have to be lying. Well, guess what? Not that many people have to be in on it. And there's people that defend the globe that have no idea what the globe model is. And the other thing is, they don't know what the flat Earth model is. They have a misconception like this. They think, flat earthers think we're a flat planet with other round planets. Nope. Those are two false models. A flat disk in space, that's not our model. And globes in space, that's not a real model either. And this is all scientifically provable stuff, but we were never taught to use our brains in school to think creatively. We were taught to memorize and regurgitate. And those that did the memorization and regurgitation the best get to become the teachers of the next generation.
So how old were you? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead.
2016. No. It happened in 2016. 2015, 2016, around there.
Okay, so before 2015, were you thinking about it? And what was the story or the conversation that brought you to walk into this to where you wanted to start sharing this information with everybody?
Well, so before 2015, of course, I didn't think the Earth was a flat. That's dumb. That's an archaic idea. Flat earthers showing, when they show flat Earth on the news, they show you a disc in space, and that's the dumbest thing ever, because if you Google flat Earth, you end up at the Flat Earth Society information, which will show you this picture. And that's a government-run disinformation site. So I went in it with a closed mind to disprove it and shut these morons up. I went in it to prove the globe and disprove flat Earth. But I couldn't find any proof of the globe, right? So let me ask you guys some questions. And just so you don't feel pressured, I got them all wrong when I was asked, okay? So if you get them all wrong, you have the same score that I have.
Now, Dave, understand, we are not, and do not claim to be smart. So
no. Well, listen, but here's the other thing.
You cannot base this on, because again, I may believe that the Earth is made of cheese. So go ahead.
Right. So hang on. People discredit themselves. I'm not a scientist. I don't have a PhD. Those are the dumbest people in the world, some of them. Okay, because they're the most indoctrinated. If you have the ability to think, reason, and sort things out logically, you are smarter than 99% of the world, because 99% of the world does not happen. So I already know you don't know any of these answers, but let's talk about it. How fast is the Earth spinning at the equator? Any idea?
Fast. Go ahead, Mark.
Faster than the speed of sound.
Yes, super fast.
About 1,000 miles an hour. And then we're orbiting the sun in our second motion in an elliptical, speeding up and slowing down at an average speed of 66,600 miles an hour. Okay. While that's going on, we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. Okay. And somehow all of the other planets are doing the same thing. And we all keep up on a flat horizon. Our solar system's flat. For some reason, everything is just mirroring the motion of the sun in its circular journey, around the whole entire galaxy, right?
Right.
So all of these motions. Now let's just put these into perspective. This is the hypersonic track sled. Just Google it so you can hear it with sound on YouTube. That thing went by at Mach 8.6. Mach 8.6. That's interesting. How fast is that? Well, it's 10 times faster than the orbit of the Earth, and it's 100 times faster than the traveling with the sun. So remember that spiral I was just showing you? You have to believe that we're moving 10 times faster than this in one direction, the whole globe, with all the water on the outside adjacent to a vacuum of space, which is scientifically impossible. And we're chasing it. But when we go out into nature, let me ask you a question. Who lies, men or nature? Men lie. Nature tells the truth. What's going on with this water here? Nothing, right? If there was a tiny, tiny, tiny earthquake, what would happen to this water? It would start sloshing all over the place.
Donald Trump lies a lot too, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, men lie. Men lie, right?
Yeah,
Nature never lies. Nature always knows when the buds to appear on plants, and nature knows when nature doesn't lie. Men lie. So we go out into nature and we look and we turn off our common sense and we believe nonsense that we're moving at 4 different directions at once, but somehow we have lakes that can look like this, perfect mirrors. That's impossible. Now the argument is, well, we're moving. It's already going that speed. You don't feel it. Well, all of those directions are curvature. They're all turning. We're spinning as a curve. We're orbiting as a curve, speeding up and slowing down. This water would slosh all over the place, but it doesn't. So I'm going to throw it back to you in a second, but let me just finish my my point here. They tell us we live on a spinning ball with Antarctica at the bottom of a ball. Antarctica has a circumference of 10 to 13,000 miles. They keep changing it. So we'll just say 10 to 13,000. No problem. The equator, which is all the way around the midpoint, is 24,900 miles around, right? They also tell us Antarctica is the highest land on Earth. Interesting. That's interesting. So let me ask you a question. If you go to a lake or a pond, what's containing that water? Easy question, not a trick question. What's holding the water from flowing away?
Dirt.
The land that's higher than the water, exactly.
Right.
Right? And if you lowered the land at one part lower than the lake, what's going to happen? Boom, the water's going to flow and find the next level. Okay? So water, large bodies of water, not a drop of water, a large body of water, anything bigger than a gallon of water, at rest, lays flat. It needs a container. It needs lateral pressure. Well, our world is set up like this. Here's our world. Here's the shoreline of our lake, our world pond. This shoreline is Antarctica. Antarctica is not at the bottom of a ball. It's the highest land on Earth. When you get to Antarctica, the land is 200 feet over your head. Okay? The land is 200 feet over your head. All of the water is surrounded by, all of the islands, continents are surrounded by water, but all of the water is surrounded by land. What's out here? Now imagine if our world was a lake in Kansas, right? Just imagine, just for a scale model, we're making something smaller. But before I show you that, let's talk about just a quick thing. Circumnavigation. If this is our world pond, and at the middle here, I have a magnet, and I have a compass here that is pointing toward the north, is pointing towards the magnet. I'm trying to push this compass west. And as you see, to maintain a western heading, I have to keep going in the same direction, right? I have to always have that north needle pointing towards the north. Now I'm going east, and east is a circle around the center, equidistant from the center, okay? Now that's the same on a flat earth and a globe earth. It doesn't prove either. But if I want to dead reckon west, so that stick is representing west at that point, if I don't start turning to the right to correct my direction, I'm heading south. South is every direction away from the center. You following me? You follow. Come on.
Yeah.
No, not
No.
really.
Yeah.
So,
I'm with
so let me ask you this. So I think at the end of the day, the conversation about this,
Why
as you
does it
mentioned
matter?
before,
Go ahead.
that you talk about, but not just this. It's like you say, everybody. I think everybody has a like you said conspiracy theory, but I think everybody comes to certain realizations that resonate with them that they believe in. Right? Why do you think this one ends up being so controversial when, like you said, at the end of the day, for many people, it doesn't. To me, it doesn't matter. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter. I mean, Bootsy Vegas has had 2 death dates and survived death. In my life, what the world is, that's not the box that, like you said, that I'm interested in. Mine would be more of, as we all know, information that we know are lies that we don't talk about. So mine comes from, I think most people of color, comes from the United States history with the relationships with Indians to slavery. So that's the box that gets me fired up, right?
Me too. Gets me fired up also.
So why do you think, number one, why do you think when you say flat earther, or why is it so politically explosive, number one? And number two, why is the effort? I know the effort to suppress America's and the world's racist history. It's white supremacy. What is the drive to suppress the fact that the world is flat? What's the drive there?
Sure. So that's a long. I'm going to try not to drag the answer out long, but it is an involved answer, and there's many aspects of it. You know, divide and conquer is the best way. The best way to control the world. So they've divided the world by countries. The divisions are fake. They divide us by color, by race, by political party, by sports teams. You know, vaxxed, unvaxxed. They're dividing. The more they make us divided, the more they make us afraid of each other, afraid of, more that they try to push systemic racism, the more divided and the weaker we become. The controlling elite, which aren't even the real rulers of this world, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but they want us weak and slaves in their system. They tell us in school that we only use 10% of our brain, but in reality, that's the goal of school. The other 90%, connecting to nature, connecting to higher realms, connecting to source, connecting to the creator. They don't want us to have to activate that part of our brain. They fluoridate us. Our pineal glands get calcified, and that's basically our Wi-Fi antenna to connect to the greater information. So I assume you guys are religious in some form. Yes? No?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Probably more spiritual.
Spiritual. I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So you believe there's a creator, and we're here and we should do good, right? That's that's rounding it off. Yeah, absolutely. So these evil Satanists that run the world, they don't want us in a situation where we can deny the creator. Before 2015, denied the creator. I thought Big Bang, we went from an amoeba to a monkey, to a fish, to a monkey, to a human. I believed that after I'm dead, I'm dirt. And then when I discovered that this place is not the cause, not from a Big Bang, an impossible Big Bang, we can get into that. There's a creator because it's intelligently designed. So one, they're hiding the creator. That's part one, right? Because once you understand that you're at the center of creation, you're not flying through an infinite universe where an asteroid could take you out at any moment, where all these things could go wrong, where we have lack, we're running out of fuel, which is fake, we're running out of water, there's infinite water, we're running out of food, that's a joke, we're overpopulated, that's ridiculous. Okay, all of the stuff that they tell us is about control. They want us to think we're in control. Vote left, vote right, same monster. Okay, they want us to think that we have our victories. My team won, the Jets won. Well, the Jets never win, but once we have a victory, that makes us a good slave. We go to work and we work 5 days a week, and then we get 2 days off. Sometimes we get a 3-day weekend. Then we get a couple days off for some holidays. And at the end of the year, after they stole 40% of our money, they give us 3% back. And we're like, yes, I got 3% back. Okay. This is all about control. Okay. All of it is about control. What if also they're hiding freedom from us? What do I mean by that? Well, there's a bit of tyranny going on here. What if our world was set up like this? We live here in this pond. Out here is Antarctica. This could be 1,000, couple thousand miles wide. Okay. And then out here is more land, extra continents, extra territory, extra terra. If somebody lived out here, we might even call them an extraterrestrial. And if they came to visit us just from a couple thousand miles away, they might be considered an extraterrestrial from outer space.
Okay, so my question is this then, because that is a great question, and I'm fascinated by that as well. So would you say that there are other people living people, species, humans living on other planets that we possibly don't know about?
So when I say other planets, other worlds beyond Antarctica, across the plane, more land beyond Antarctica. You know, there was a map found in what the heck is it? There was a map found in Hawaii, a Japanese map, 10 centuries old, and if I could find the map, and it showed like 30 other continents outside of Antarctica. 30 more continents. We have, what do we have? 8. Don't get me if I got that wrong. It's like our whole world is a lie, and it is absolutely insane. Now here it is. So this is the map that was found. It was printed in 1915 or something like that. These are other continents. We live here. What if these were other lands? You would call these other worlds, other planets, if you will, plane with a T added to it. All of the planets used to be called wandering stars until recent history, where they changed it to planet. Okay, we're shown pictures of these rocky worlds, and we're told we have rovers on them. It's all nonsense, right? It's all Disney and NASA are the only images we have of these other rocky worlds. And then the articles they put out every day relentlessly are absolutely insanity. I mean, look, this was just put out the other day. A picture of Pluto. Let me see, planets. Here we go. Not Pluto. This is Jupiter. Look at this. This is a painting. This is a friggin' painting. This is a painting. All right. They don't.
So Dave, with you having your platform,
Yeah.
have you felt? Do you feel again? You know, have you felt them coming for you? Have you felt what happens when you're a flat Earth guy who's promoting this and sharing what you call the truth? Do you feel is the government, should they tap your phones or harass you or things like that? Or are you left alone?
Tap our phones? Come on. Everything we say is recorded now. No phone tapping.
So do you feel in danger? Are you endangering our show right now? Damn it.
Absolutely. 100%. You guys, now that you've had me on, you're on a list. And if you weren't on a list before you had me on, you should be ashamed of yourself. Okay.
Well, I know I'm on a list.
There you go.
Bootsy's been on a list for quite some time. But really, have you felt any pressure? Have you felt anything, any fear, anything that comes after you?
You know what? I have no fear because I understand what this world is. I also have a belief that some people in the truth community totally agree with, and some people are like, I don't know about that. I don't think that the elite can kill people without getting the karma that comes with it. I don't think we're allowed to break God's law, natural law, and kill people. Now, how many people did George Bush kill? None. He convinced other order followers to kill other order followers, and that's not on him. If I convince you to kill your co-host, that's on you, not on me. Okay?
I would never kill Bootsy. Well,
I'm telling you, but if you did, it's on you. It's not on me. So I believe that your thoughts, the biggest conspiracy of all is that every thought that you have is conspiring to the universe or the earth system, this living system that we're in, is conspiring to bring that thought to you, whether it's good or bad. If you're thinking, oh, I'm only going to live paycheck to paycheck, and you're going to live paycheck to paycheck for the rest of your life because that's the way you think. If you're thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to change my thoughts. I want $10 million. And in your head, you're thinking, I'm never going to have $10 million. That's what you're attracting, your true thoughts, right? You can't say words without backing them up with true thoughts and true feelings. Your feelings bring forth everything that you have in your life is because of the way you think and feel. Now, your conscious brain, your ego can lie to yourself all day long, but you know when you're lying. You know.
Talk that talk, Flat Earth Dave. Thank God. I thought he was going to be a weirdo. Okay, Dave. This is good.
Yeah. So
Bootsy, I thought Flat Earth was going to be a weirdo. He ends up being thinking like we're thinking.
Dude, this is.
Now, I don't know about all this flat Earth stuff.
So
but I'm
hold on. We're gonna go back to that in a second. But everything, everything that you think is literally tries to come into your life, and they don't want you to know that you're at the center of creation. Okay, they don't want you to know, like, if flat Earth is true, we're at the center of creation. Everything in the sky and the ground is alive. This is a living system. Those stars that we see, they're all, why are they all the same size? They're supposedly, some of them are millions of times bigger than others. How come we don't see stars of all different sizes? They're all just pinpricks of light. Weird. And then all of the wandering stars are brighter than the stars, and they're supposed to be reflecting sunlight. Like, if I'm on Jupiter, the sun is tiny from Jupiter because it's so far away. How does that tiny little sun light up that gassy planet where not reflective, but it reflects sun back to us, brighter than any star in the sky? That's absolute insanity. This system is alive. All of those lights in the sky are alive. The planets, the wandering stars, they're all named after gods. Okay, this is way above what I can fully understand. And then think about this. You know, the whole heliocentric story is insane. As I said earlier, the seeds know when to grow and the plants know when to bud certain times of the year. Well, the moon, how come this random rock that is floating, 238,000 miles from the earth, how come women's reproductive cycles are tied to it? Okay. How come all of this stuff matters, and in the helio-nonsensical BS model, none of it matters?
So Dave, okay, so that question of other life forms, do you believe they do? And if so, is it just the same as, is this another life? They just come from somewhere else or outside of Antarctica? What's your take on that?
So, I made an app called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, and in the app you go to, what was I going to show you? Wait, your question was what was your question? I just spaced out.
Aliens.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So if you go to the books section, and there's a book called The Iron Republic right there. The Iron Republic, and it's a story about a politician in the 1800s that was just tired of politics. Could you imagine that? And he sold everything, sold his house, and
is this a true story? Is this a true story or a fictional story?
It's written as a true story, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
Did he sell his slaves? Was he that mad?
Well, again, there's
think of this.
Dude, our history is such a lie, and I'm going to show you where to find that too. So he went to Antarctica, and he found an opening in Antarctica. And he went through, and then they popped out back into the ocean. So maybe he went through, this little opening here. Then they were lost in the ocean for about a month. Then they saw land, and they pulled up. It was like nighttime, and they're kind of going around. All of a sudden they saw a city, and they waited for the morning, and a boat came out and greeted them. And they're like, "Hey, we're from America. Where is this?" It's like, "This is the Iron Republic." And he said, "What's the Iron Republic?" And he says, "Well, it's land. It's on the, where's the Iron Republic?" He goes, "It's on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance that you guys came from the United States." And they went in, and so the story flash forward. They stayed there for a couple of years. The guy the captain fell in love, got married, and then his wife died. I forget what the circumstance was. He was so distraught, got back on his boat, bought his boat back because he had sold his boat, and got back to the United States and went to Florida. And then he put out this whole story in a series of articles in Florida magazine called The Iron Republic. And so whether this is true or not, and it rings true to me, if you read the book, they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1800s. Oh, by the way, the people from the Iron Republic, they came from in here. They said, well, in the 1600s, there was tyranny, and we didn't want any part of it, so we left. And we went to the free lands away from the tyranny here. Okay. Interesting story. True or not, they're talking about more land beyond Antarctica. Let's get back to why you guys think the Earth is a globe. You think I'm crazy, but I've been looking into this for 5 years. How long have you been?
Hold on, Dave. Wait a minute.
Right,
hold on.
Not crazy.
No one thinks you're crazy, Dave.
We don't think you're crazy.
At all,
Dave. You and I are similar in that.
Yeah.
Again, as African Americans in America,
we want to learn.
Why would we believe anything anybody tells us?
Absolutely, especially our history.
At the end of the day, I don't. But I'm a Gemini too. Whatever. I don't think you're crazy. I think you have. Everybody has a right to feel how they feel, believe what they believe. You're on your journey, and we welcome anybody who can express how they feel or their opinions.
Let me
But
show
Dave,
you. Yeah, go ahead.
But Dave,
Go ahead.
we're still waiting for the answer of, do you believe that there's other people living outside of the earth or whatever? Like, that's a great question. I think a lot of people have that question or whatever. There are a lot of theories, UFOs. We really would love to know your answer on that, Dave.
Yes. So here's my short answer. And again, I want the right to go explore. Nobody is allowed to go explore the outer lands of Antarctica. There's been a treaty since 1959 called the Antarctic Treaty, and no one's allowed to question it. ExxonMobil, backing up, Admiral Byrd flew out there, said there's more land bigger than the United States, filled with resources that no human has ever seen before. Wow, land with resources that we don't have to disturb anybody. And immediately the Antarctic Treaty goes up. Every country in the world ends up, almost every country in the world signs it, all the major ones. And nobody can explore there. Now, how come ExxonMobil hasn't gone and say, we want to go there, cheap oil? They could, no, nobody even tries, because if we were allowed to explore the outer lands of Antarctica, we would discover the earth is not what they tell us. And then all governments collapse, all power systems close, all religious institutions, all education institutions, they all close. So are there aliens? Well, this is one possibility. Focus is a little small, but we live here in the inner circle, this little white ring, which I pointed to before. That's Antarctica. There's more land out here, another ring, more land. And then that's kind of the end until you get to another puddle and another puddle and another puddle. And these are all other worlds. Okay. And then if you zoom out, each world has its own sun, right? These are all other worlds, hundreds of them. Okay. And then are there more advanced people living out there? I speculate that there are. Me, David Weiss. I speculate that there are, and way more advanced. Maybe even people that are angelic, more evolved than us.
So
that
Dave,
are
Dave,
watching us.
So Dave, you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying that pilots, meteorologists, they're all in on it.
Absolutely not.
So pilots basically, when they're in a plane, they see things, and you're saying it's just one of those things that they're just like, oh yeah, that's there, but I'm not really going to go there. Is that? And then meteorologists who, I guess they say this is how the weather's is. They're all in on this belief system?
Absolutely not. So let me ask you a question. Right? Use your common sense here.
Okay, now this don't say common sense with me.
You have common sense. You're smarter than you think. They've trained you to say that you're not smart because you don't have a degree.
He does not think he does not think he's smart. So let me tell you that. I know. He just put that on that vacation.
I'm just pretty and gifted with words, Dave.
All right. So look, here's the equator, right? The top half is the north, and the bottom half is the southern equator. The southern hemisphere. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I say that right? So on a globe, if you picked any two locations in the north, any two airports, anywhere, any combination in the north, from a north location to another north location, and you were going to fly from one to the other, would you ever have to go below the equator?
North to the north?
From a north location to another north location, would you ever need to dip down below the equator and then come back up?
No.
No, and guess what? No flight ever does. Very good. A northern flight from a northern location to another northern location, and the same thing should be true for a southern location to another southern location. From Australia to Santiago, they should be able to just fly the straightest route, right?
So what about Australia to the northern location?
Well, yeah, sure. Then you just cross up from one to the other. But you draw a straight line on a globe, which is a curved line, right? But that's not how it works. Right? If we look in the southern locations, many, many flights take these wild detours, right? So this one goes all the way up to Senegal and then all the way back down. Why didn't it just go straight across? Well, if you look at it on a flat earth map, there's Senegal. It's a straight line. Okay? Let's look at another one. Let this soak in. Don't jump to conclusions. Here we go. This one goes all the way up, right? All the way up to where's it going to? California? Is that California? What does that say?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. It goes all the way up and then all the way down. Why didn't it just cut across here? Okay. Well, it's got to pick up other passengers. No, these people wanted to go to this is Peru. Wanted to go to Peru, and they had to go all the way here. But look, on a flat Earth map, it's almost a straight line,
So
crossing the equator twice.
So Dave Anthony, who's a boater, says, explain why boats disappear over the horizon.
Yes. Let me just, that's next. Let me just show you another thing that happens is sometimes on an airplane, there's an emergency. Okay. And somebody has to,
use the bathroom?
someone has to use the bathroom. Somebody is having a heart attack, baby, whatever, and they need to land the plane. So here's a flight from New York to Hawaii, and it stopped in Seattle. Something happened. It went 1,000 miles out of the way to Seattle, and it got there really fast. Well, look, Seattle is right on the line if you draw a line from the origin to the destination. Here's another one, okay? And this one went to Moscow. Moscow's way the hell over here. Why did it go to Moscow? Well, on a flat Earth map, Moscow's right in line, okay? One more. Here's one from Dallas to Beijing, went to Calgary. Look where Calgary is, like maybe 1,500 miles out of the way, more. And it got there in like 15 minutes. How did it do that, right? All of these are documented in a book called 16 Emergency Landings Proving Flat Earth. It's free online as a PDF, or you can go to lulu.com and get the coffee table book. I love it because anybody that touches it goes, what the hell? And then they become a flat earther because it opens up the questions for them.
So again, Dave, like you say, so Anthony, Anthony, somebody's on the water, right? How do you explain the horizon? Boats over the horizon. Okay. So because I think from this kind of person who deals with, boats all the time or whatever, okay. I think their question just really does come because they're on the water. They're actively using it.
Do you see this tan? I'm on the water every single day.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. So check this out. So imagine
I noticed that. I did notice that, Dave. You look a little bronze.
Is that a Kango hat Dave has on, though?
It's just a backwards baseball hat.
Okay, I was going to say, if they had a Kango on the water, you would have thrown questions into your legitimacy.
Yeah. So follow me here. Imagine a beautiful, clear day. You're on the water. You have white cumulus clouds. They're 5,000 or 10,000 feet above you. And then they're kind of like sitting on that flat deck. They all sit at the same level. But if you look 20, 30, 40 miles into the distance, they're touching the water, right? But they're not. It's just perspective. Bring them together. So here's something they don't teach you in school. It's called the angular resolution limits of your eyes. When something gets smaller than 0.02 degrees, you can't see it. Your eye just can't resolve it. So it disappears, even though it's still there. Only zooming in on it, increasing the angular size, will bring it back. So I'm going to show you a sailboat. Excuse me.
No, that's no problem.
I'm going to show you a sailboat, and there's no sailboat here, right? So we're zooming in. So here we are. Here's where the sky touches the ground. And as I zoom in, I'm increasing the angular size. And all of a sudden, you can see there's a sailboat there because I've increased the angular size. Now, little waves in the foreground, like this little wave right here in the foreground, will block the boat, right? The little wave will start blocking the boat from the bottom up, and it looks like it disappears. Now that to a guy in a boat looks like if that boat was just going away, it looks like it went over the curve, but it's still there. It's still there. Just these little waves in the foreground are bigger than the boat. And zooming in, there it is again. We have thousands and thousands and thousands in the app. Under frequently asked questions, hit boats over the horizon, and there's tons of these videos. And then they're also explained to you what's happening, how the mirroring effect is getting rid of them, how the atmospheric conditions, how it looks like it's floating, but it's really not. Okay, so let me ask you a question. This ball here.
So Anthony responds, an open view through high-powered microscope, boat still appears. Stop it.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. You zoom. Here's what happened.
This boat still disappears.
No, they disappear because of waves. Waves will hide them. Okay, so here is a rough example. I wish I had the video here. The whole back of this boat is gone. It looks like it's underwater. And it's just because these waves in the foreground are hiding it. And as that boat moves, like if that boat was all the way out here, this little wave on the horizon would hide a whole city behind it. Okay, because the city is smaller. Look at my finger. Can my finger hide this ball? I can only hide part of it, right? I can't hide the ball, right? But if this ball was going into the distance, my little finger can hide the entire ball. Okay, it's all. Oops, I can't line it up. I'm dyslexic. It's hidden behind my little finger, which is a wave in the foreground, and it's hiding things in the distance. Everything gets converged. Like we were watching the sunset on the water last night, and there's some land about a mile from us, and the sun kind of set behind it because it just, here's the trees, and the sun went away, and it set, and then we moved over to where the land was farther, and we could see the sun again. Let me show you how the sun sets. Okay, so here is this is a good one. You're gonna like this. So this is my flat Earth kitchen, right? Here's my kitchen counter. This line here, we're viewing it from a celestial point of view, from an elevated point of view. This is the path of the sun, and I'm moving the sun across this line. Now, this could be a city skyline, could be mountains, could just be the atmospheric deck of opacity, clouds, or whatever. But I never go below it, and this line is level. Now, I have a camera on the counter over there looking up at this going away. Now we're going to look at it from a terrestrial point of view. Look at this line. If I showed you this first and said, is this sloped? You'd say, well, yeah. And I'd say, is this going below this obstacle, whatever it is? And you'd be like, yeah. And this also looks like it's at about eye level, but it's not. It's way above it. And if I zoom in, look how steep this line looks. This is level. This is above this. It's just going behind your optical horizon. Okay. Now here's a real sunset versus mine. The sun went down, 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 down. And look what it's going behind right here. It's going behind. Now that could be a mountain in the distance, or it could just be the atmosphere. That's just the atmosphere. I'll let you know one more time. Then I'm going to just show you one more thing that's going to really sink this home for you. And there it goes. It's the same thing. So here we go. We're going to look at, this is Mount Canigou. All right. So from Illusia, France, we're looking out over the ocean, and Mount Canigou is a big mountain range, is 175 miles away, and you can't see it because according to Globe Math, it's over the curve. Okay. Now, do you see me, or do you see the light that's bouncing off of me? You see the light that's bouncing off of me because if I turned off all the lights in this room, you wouldn't see me because there'd be no light for you to see. The light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou is trying to push through all of that atmosphere for 175 miles, and it just can't do it because the atmosphere, light gets thinner. It's like sound. It just dissipates over time, but it can't do it. However, the sun is itself, the source of that light, is much brighter. And twice a year, when the sun migrates from the tropics to the tropics, it lines up with Canigou and the viewers. And when it goes beyond Mount Canigou, all of a sudden you can see Mount Canigou. This is the highest point of Mount Canigou right there. It should be over a half a mile below the curvature, according to Globe Math, from this altitude. Using all three of their calculators, which within 1,000 miles are all within, a very less than 0.01% difference. Mountain's still here. It's not a mirage, but you can't see it because we can only see so far, right? You're seeing it backlit. There it is. This is impossible. This means one of two things. The Earth is flat, which it is, or that the Earth is 1,000 times bigger than they're telling us, which opens up another problem. 1,000 times bigger? What are they hiding?
Well,
why does it matter?
Flat Earth Dave, again, Bootsy, the questioner. We have Anthony Horn does not agree. We have some people who don't agree. But again, that's the beauty of discussions because
I love people that don't agree. What's your best globe proof?
Well, I think at the end of the day, I think he's a boat guy like you.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, I think, he basically says that, he can send us a picture from, he's in Puerto Rico. He can send a picture that shows the curvature of the horizon from the 24th floor in Puerto Rico. But at the end of the day, I think, again, just like religion, people believe what they believe, and they have their reasons, and everybody has proof. And that's the beauty of the barbershops.
We've been programmed to have beliefs like that. So when you're looking out,
I guess I'm saying, David, is we have, and so I don't think any evidence you could show anybody who believes what they believe is going to change their mind. But
some people.
But I think we having the conversation at least puts it out there. You know what I mean? for me, I'm the kind of person that I love the conversations on everything from religion to conspiracy. Probably not going to ever change my mind, but it does add a cool perspective, or it does add maybe look at something differently. And again, why would I believe anything that the world tells me? Why would I ever believe that? So, if it's the case,
yeah,
great. If it's not, great. It doesn't really matter to me, but I love the fact, the information you shared, and like you said, even that little piece of about more land, because like you said, we all know there's things when you talk about the protected national parks and all that kind of stuff. That's a whole other show that I'm sure you're already aware of, that feeds right into that too. Like you said, why wouldn't it be more that's never talked about when we have deals cut with our national parks years ago that people, the average person, doesn't even know about. So as we wrap it up, Dave, what's your wrap up? What do you say to those people who want to learn more, and to those who maybe don't believe or do believe?
So my wrap up is, ask yourself what your best globe proof is. And when you realize that, before you do that, like when you come up with one, if you hit the question mark, up comes, hey, what about eclipses? What about seasons? What about ships over the horizon? If you hit one of those, up comes a list of videos that Google is hiding from you. They don't want you to see these. And then if you see these, then you're like, oh, that's why I think I see a curve, because I see the same distance in all directions. I see the same distance in all directions. And that creates a curve, a flat curve of view. Excuse me. And that my brain interprets that as a sphere. Okay. Once you understand what you're seeing, then you'll start to see, and then then I used to say, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work. And that's the biggest deception of all. What difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world, because once you understand where you are and the true power of your mind, you stop giving away your power to these elite, and you start learning, you start seeing. So there you go.
Well, Dave, thank you again. FlatEarthDave.com. Thank you for joining us. Go check out the information. Man, have a blessed day. Take care. Flat Earth Dave joining us. Now, Mark Versus says, Mark, truth should be a matter, or else there's no point in sharing. No, first of all, Versus, that's your opinion. That's the part that's funny about, I think where we are in the world. You can't tell me my opinion. You can't tell me my purpose. And so Versus, truth should matter, or else there's no point in sharing your opinion. No.
And you can't tell them that you're not trying to. I think the great thing is what you're trying to say. It's okay to have a discussion and disagree and agree, but try to get some perspective of where people is coming from. We don't have to debate and be upset about it.
No, and look at Versus. Oh, so you want to share lies? Look, your truth is your truth and my truth is my truth. But again, it's not. And I think that's the thing that's interesting, where we're in a world where everybody has a microphone.
Right.
Everybody has a point of view. We're human. We're human beings. We're people. Or if you believe that, or maybe we're not. But the purpose of this is really great conversation, enlightenment. I thought I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if Dave was going to be. I thought Dave's presentation was great. I mean, he didn't. He didn't come in to me sounding like a crazy person. Right. He wasn't defensive.
Right, as well.
Which
is important.
As Versus is defensive. He wasn't as like you said, Bootsy, we don't push our agenda on to other people. And but I do like you to defend where you're coming from and your point of view. And so when we talk about our feelings towards the earth being flat or round, look at this. Slavery is taught never happened. I thought about you, Bootsy, because when you had a death date, right? You look at life. Like I had a couple thoughts this morning, Bootsy. Number one, the first one was I was thinking about as I watched my kids, they're growing up and we're on vacation. We have this great time. And Sydney's at that age, she's 21. She's getting ready to have her own apartment. She's getting ready to go to med school. She's getting ready to, and so that transition from being the kid to kind of growing up, being a grown up in a sense.
Which I've been having those lately as well. Go ahead.
What hit me, Bootsy, was, you know, I was thinking about, like you say, the whole purpose of life and what you find important and what you live for, what you're willing to die for. Most people are willing to die for wealth or for dying for things that they haven't really had before. So that's why, like you look at, I was thinking about famous people. You know, you get all the money in the world, but these people seem unhappy. Why? Because they thought being rich and famous was going to make them feel better about themselves. When we know it doesn't. You and I have been through things in life.
Man.
We've witnessed wealth or seen people who have wealth. And
hold on, and not be happy with it, because that's the main thing as well. Because sometimes people do equate that to success and happiness. But go ahead.
Yes. And then we also, again, you were given a death date
twice.
And so when you're struck with that, you know what's important to you. And as I thought about the show today, I was thinking, for whatever reason, the earth being flat around probably was not on the list of things that you gave a damn about. And there's nothing wrong with that. For other people, it is. For other people, it is. Slavery being real or not, again, given a death date, as an African-American, that probably, again, wasn't something that you were thinking about, because it is what it is. And you have to live your life how you live your life, right? So I think so the blessing, and I think we're in the same space, Bootsy, is we know what life's about. And what is life about, Bootsy? What I thought about was those moments you have with people that you love. We've had them on this show. Absolutely. That feeling of what you were family, and that meal is right, and that laughter and that good-heartedness. I don't think in your whole life, no matter how much money you have, and no matter how much beauty you have, or whatever all the stuff that you think is important, I really don't think there's anything greater than that. The birth of your child, the great conversations you have with friends.
And also the development of your child and your family.
Yes.
And see when you present them opportunities that they didn't have, or when you put them in the path and see where they're being greater than what they ever thought, and it got sparked from you. Go ahead.
I don't think it gets any better than that. I don't care.
Marc.
And so it's not a check.
Hey,
I think that thing right there, Bootsy, and you could tell me because you were there, when you have to contemplate if I'm going to be here tomorrow, right? And you have to close your eyes forever, if you believe in that. I don't believe in that. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that's all that's really important.
Yeah, and enjoying the fruits of your labor and your sacrifices. Now, I can tell you this. This is the best time of the year for me ever. Why, everybody? Not my birthday, probably my son's birthday, who's born, on my mother's birthday, but I get to connect. This happened this morning. I have kids that I had developed. I had 2 of my freshman students call me and tell me, Sally, you know what? Everything you said college was going to be in my journalism class, you was right. I was way more prepared. I did not think, but when I got here, you was right. I'm so glad I left. I just talked to one of my favorite students in the world. Her name is Ayana Morgan. She's a freshman at Benedict College. Despite her struggle, she called today with a whole new sense of energy. Some things you cannot put in, you can't tangibly see it. It is a spirit. It is a vibe. It is a connection. It is somebody sparking something. You know what I mean? So in general, when you get to those days, and because I had this moment with me, I was where I thought I didn't know if I was going to be here. And then I started realizing what was most important. It was not the women. It was not the money. It was the relationships and the connections that I made. And the relationships and the connections I had made, when they called me saying, don't give up, keep going, that meant more than me than anything somebody could have gave me. Because I had 2 millionaires tell me, hey, if you need money, call me. But the fact that they cared about me, the fact that my recovery and me beating it was important, meant more than the actual money that they could have gave me. I've told everybody this story, who know me. Donnie Simpson showed up in my room when I first had diagnosed with cancer. I did not. Let me say this. I did not tell him what room I was in. He knew I was in the hospital. I didn't ask him to come. I didn't do nothing. That man showed up in my room at about 8 o'clock at night. I hear people screaming. He came in and had a man-to-man conversation. That conversation of life and purpose and what you're gonna do when you beat this meant more than any amount of money he could have gave me. Philip Bailey called me and said, hey, randomly, he said, hey, we're going on tour. He says, but I'm going to call you every day and we can pray over the phone and I'm going to send you some money in case you need it. Trust me, the fact that that man stopped in the middle of what he was doing to give me that type of energy meant more than any monetary value thing that I could have ever got. And as you're saying, that's what life is about. It's them experiences. It's them connections. It's that spark, you know, it is that thing. Because everything that, and I, you know, this is known. What Earth, Wind, and Fire gave me has led me to all them kids going to college. The opportunities that Donnie gave to me, fighting for me when they did not want me in there because I was in the go-go band. And he's like, nah, he's the best person for the job. So he's going to go. And the fact that Allison and Donnie said, I'm going to support your program. You can use my name. You can put my face on the award and all that, which has now led all these, as me and you talk, I tell everybody right now, I have a student right now who is, her name is Ayanna Carter. People know her story. Ayanna Carter came to me as a 14-year-old. As 15-year-old, her dream was, I want to go to Hampton. I want to major in broadcast journalism, and I want to be a Delta. I wonder where that idea came from, because y'all know I ain't no Delta, right? And y'all did know I didn't go to Hampton. So I'm just saying, like, these relationships, these sparking somebody, you know what I mean? Because the conversation I had with Ayanna Morgan has meant so much more to me. But next year at this time, when Ayanna Carter calls me, it's going to mean more. And that's what life is about. This money stuff, and I'll tell everybody this last story. I mean, everybody know how I feel about Maurice White. He had everything you thought a human being could have. But I can remember going in there one day and he couldn't feed himself because of Parkinson's, because he had worried himself to death, to where he had a spoon and it was hitting against the table. Like, you know, he could, like, think about that. So be careful when you think these materialistic things can make you happy. It's not. It's what you put in the universe. It's what you've been giving. It's what you inspire. Like you have been inspiring me since we started on this journey with the Marc Clarke Morning Show. You know what I mean? Now, last thing. Everybody know I have a sister. Everybody know that Samantha is not my biological sister. I had Samantha with me since she was 17 years old. Samantha's about to put another album out in 2 weeks. Samantha just got 2 placements on a song. She's a mother. You think that interaction between me and her don't mean nothing? You know what I mean? When you see somebody, so, you know, as you say, and I hope people realize this, what is really important? The moments that you just shared with your family there is important. And the moments that I create with these kids who, for whatever reason, God has sent these, and I tell everybody this too, I wasn't looking for this. I was not ever looking to be nobody's father. I was never, but unfortunately it is what it is. But
you are.
Yeah, Mark, I'm not trying to be nobody's father. Like straight up, you know what I mean? But that's what life is about. And be clear, when you find your purpose and your passion, you're going to live a lot longer. I can tell you 4 people who I know got more money than they know what to do with, and they not happy. I've seen it. So I think that is such a correlation. I hope if they get anything from these discussions that we have, realize what is important, realize that your purpose and your passion is really important. Ride the wave. Don't take everything so serious. Have fun. Dave so bad wanted to get into an argument with us. We like, Dave, we don't think you crazy, bro. We open, you know what I mean? Just stay open.
The whole crew is, and it's so funny because I think the other part that they don't understand because they're not listening is we're talking about life or death, and we understand verses. Without truth, people know there's truth, art and solution. What else they said? This is he said you should go tell your stories, your friends, about something. Right. No, we're talking to our friends versus we're talking to our friends. We're not talking about what you're talking about. Stick to the topic. Look at it. So you got these people are obviously the shape of the earth had nothing to do with your face. Look at this. Look. So what's funny is the energy that they're bringing to our space is foreign because we're grown-ups. First of all, You locked up, Bootsy, but I'll say it. We're grown-ups and we understand truth. We understand the lies. So we're not saying that we believe all that is told to us. What we are saying is, as grown-ups, we know what's important. And so, the kind of comments, the kind of energy that some of those people bring in, it doesn't resonate with us because we're in a much higher place than you are. You're obviously still struggling. If you believe that the most important in your life is the shape of the earth, then you have a few more lifetimes to live. And that's fine because that's your journey. But what you won't bring in is negative energy into a positive space. We had an atypical guest on today, which was cool. But again, this space here is a space of love, positivity, and growth. And also it's a place of maturity. The people who are on this channel, they enjoy the stories, they participate in the stories, they resonate in the stories. If you don't, that's the beauty of it. Don't ever come over to this channel ever again, because you obviously don't match. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work because we're not about unnecessarily that journey you're on. We've already been past that journey. We got real things to worry about. And for us, that's family, that's life, that's us, that's humanity. It's not whatever negative concept you're bringing in. And again, I don't think you're at the kids' table. You can have that conversation with your little friends at the kids' table. This is the grown-ups table. Okay, so good luck to whatever you're going to be doing. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. Speaking of that, tomorrow we got a great guest. Tomorrow we got some more positivity, and you'll be very impressed. This gentleman is changing the world with his good words. He's a minister. He's a reverend. He's a doctor. And he'll be joining us tomorrow on the show. Bootsy got booted out for some reason. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you. And if it's your first time watching, welcome to the channel. And again, if you bring in positivity, please come back. If you bring in negativity, kick rocks. All right, peace.
Don't know